asking me, as and I can say I'm the only, I think, dashingly handsome white male up here. So it's a great question that you asked for someone, what can I do? Well, what I can do is tell you my life experience. I can't change that I was born a white male, again, dashingly handsome, but I was born a white male. But I do have this in my background. 2 parents that taught me. My father was president of Council 94, the largest labor union in the state. Labor unions believe in everybody deserves a fair chance and a fair voice at the table. Everybody. Minority groups, whites, everybody deserves the same equal against the CEOs and the big businesses. My mother was a registered nurse for the state of Rhode Island. My mother believes that everybody deserves health care, free health care. Now, that's something I cannot offer you guys at all in this forum at all. But one of the things that I also did was not only be raised by 2 incredible parents that believe that everybody should be treated the same and treated equally. One of the things I started off with, I told you I was senior class president at Shea High School. What is the makeup of Shea High School? I was one of 11 white, non-Hispanic males that graduated of a class of 273. I became their class president. How did that happen? Because I became friends with everybody. So one of the things that we will be doing as a city council member, reach out to the Cape Verdean community, reach out to the Hispanic community, reach out to the African. You have to make this non-divisive.
30 seconds.
Politicians and politics have become so divisive. We have to invite everybody in, and they can't look at, oh, he's for this group, they're for this group. I'm for everybody, and everybody needs to be told that by broadcasting it, by having community outreach programs like this. Quarterly things like this I would be asking to do if I'm elected council at large.
Jim? Janie Lee?
City council members and city employees, not regular employees, but the administration, there should be more of a connection between communities and our local government. There's no like neighborhood associations, there's no leadership training or building within our community, and we need more of that. It shouldn't just be like, oh, it's an election year, let's get out there and go to a couple high rises or hit a park. Let's do that all the time. Let's engage different people from different backgrounds, different social economic backgrounds, different abilities, different races, and let's see what are their needs and how can we as a city start to either make some changes, look at what is working, what's not working, and start making changes so that we can start improving those communities from the ground up. Thank you.
Emmanuel, you're up.
I mean, I've said a little bit about this before. I think my perspective is both Latino, but also as a new American who speaks Spanish as a second language, can really help expand the lines of communication that we currently don't have happening on the council, right? The other piece is, in my own background as a social worker and as a healthcare advocate, I fought the insurance companies tooth and nail sometimes to provide adequate access to notifications to people of diverse linguistic abilities, because folks would get an adverse benefit determination, something saying your hospital visit's not covered. They would only get that notice in English. And if they didn't speak the language, they either ignored the bill, let it sit there, didn't know who to contact. So I made sure that anywhere where I have worked, I have staffed a team that includes people of a variety of linguistic abilities. Be it, we had someone who spoke Brazilian Portuguese, Spanish, we had someone who spoke Cape Verdean Creole. And I think that's a model that we should expect out of city government as well. So I want to really implement standards, but what I also want to do is expand access to community events. Folks here have mentioned having quarterly meetings with the community. I totally agree that the neighborhood associations is a good way to start building a bridge between government and the people, so we can have those interest groups that are fueled by passion for their communities, that want to see a better neighborhood, be the ones communicating to government what are some solutions that we can work on together.
30 seconds.
I feel, to summarize, I feel that communication is the most important thing we can start with, and as the lines of communication open, we can expand the ideas and the participation of diverse communities in government.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Rodney?
Not enough time. Anyway, been here since '57. I gotta say something about Pawtucket.
Say that one more time.
The people of Pawtucket, the people of Pawtucket have been fantastic. I've been in the military, I've been around the United States, I've been overseas, and racism, let's not deny it. It's still here. There is racism. But Pawtucket has been one of the most diverse cities I've ever run into in my life. I've been in all my life. And, you know, yes, the N-word was thrown around and white boy was thrown around, but we were friends. We were friends. We said it through anger, but we could be friends the next day. However, the disconnect is the government and the people in Pawtucket and Rhode Island. It's the government that has purposely segregated. I'm not afraid to say it, including here in Pawtucket. Look at two sides of the river, two sides of the city, and you'll be able to clearly see the difference, okay? So it's the disconnect between the government. If we keep voting these same people in, it's going to continue. It's not going to change. I'm asking you to realize that. If you really care about diversity and getting the city to reflect its occupants and taxpayers and the people in the city, you have to get rid of this current administration. It's not going to change. I grew up on Pleasant Street, Italian, Irish, Portuguese. The N-word was all around. Then I went to the racetrack. Narragansett racetrack, if everybody remembers, was predominantly black back there. They called me white boy because of the way I dressed and the way I spoke. So I know about diversity, I know about prejudice, I can see it, and I can see, you know, people who think they're not and whatever. But it's the disconnect between government and the people.
Thanks so much, Rodney. Melissa, you're up.
So I would like to say that I am the candidate that is representing the disenfranchised in the city of Pawtucket. I have been working with the disenfranchised for the last decade. Been outreaching to the homeless community. I've been outreaching to the people the families that are suffering from the opioid crisis. I'm outreaching to domestic violence victims, people who are affected by gun violence, gang violence. I'm working with the people who are coming out of the prison, who are coming into our city, who need a job, who need help, who need to make sure we're wrapping around the right services so that our city and our streets are safe. In order to uplift the disenfranchised community, we need to be willing to work with them and actually go into where they are. And so if you're not in Collier Park working with the people, if you're not at Payne Park trying to help the kids, if you're not in John Street or in Prospect Heights or in Gallego, then are you really working with the disenfranchised? Are you really getting from behind the desk and going to the people who really need for you to represent them? Because if we don't uplift these communities and these people, then of course your taxes are going to continue to go crazy and crime rates are going to continue to go crazy because there's no focus on helping these people. And although I love our local service providers, we need more of a collaboration here. We need the city to collaborate with our local providers. Like, you know, we should really be empowering the organizations that are helping people find jobs, find help, and I don't think we're doing a good job at that. And so everyone's doing this here and that there, and there's no unity. And until we bring it together and we actually put people in who actually care about everyone in Pawtucket, then we're not going to move forward. So the way that I'm going to represent, I am representing the disenfranchised. That is, I'm here to elevate and empower the people of Pawtucket who haven't been elevated or empowered in a long time.
Thanks, Melissa.